Hello and welcome to Swiftly Spoken, a fan-made Taylor Swift podcast in which we break down her lyrics, deep dive into full album retrospectives, and theorise about what may be coming next. As always, we're your hosts Cameron and Lisa, and in this episode we're going to be discussing the many Easter eggs present in the I Can See You music video, and especially delving into how recent events may deeply affect the release of Taylor's next re-recorded project, 1989 Taylor's version. Shortly after releasing Speak Now Taylor's version, Taylor debuted the music video for the vault track I Can See You at the Eras tour and invited her co-stars Presley Cash, Joey King and Taylor Lautner on stage. So this special music video is full of Easter eggs, a bittersweet message, and points us directly to which of the remaining 3 albums she seems to be releasing next.
So to give a summary of what happens in the music video, we basically follow Presley, Joey and Taylor Lautner as they attempt to break Speak Now Taylor out from the vault that she's trapped in, which is located in a museum full of Speak Now era memorabilia. In order to get her out of there, they basically have to break in, fight off some bad guys, and then sadly they have to blow up the whole place. Taylor commented that the video was a way of representing how the fans have helped her with her journey to owning her music, supporting her as she re-records her first 6 albums. She was also quoted saying, "I wrote this video treatment over a year ago and really wanted to play out symbolically how it's felt for me to have the fans helping me reclaim my music." So it's not just a video that is absolutely full of Easter eggs, it also is really touching. It's a really touching music video. It's a really symbolic and metaphorical video as well, and I really like it. I really like the message behind it as well.
Me too. I think it's really cool to kind of see basically the Taylor's version project kind of visualized like that and done kind of metaphorically. It is interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really cool to see it like that. And I kind of wish maybe she'd do one for like every Taylor, like breaking out every Taylor as almost like, you know, with like the vault. If we started each era of like having to go in and breaking out every single Taylor
in like different places, that would be cool as well.
Exactly.
Like, she could go for Fearless. She's on like a horse, or I don't know, riding off somewhere.
Yeah.
For Red, she goes
then, like,
somewhere.
Red, she was in a car.
Yeah, all to me.
She's like
and
in the
yeah.
And I'm trying to think where 1989 would be. She like breaks into, I don't know,
like she goes into that woods and gets Zombie Taylor. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. She goes into the woods.
That would be so cool.
And then obviously Reputation, she could go into the Reputation Castle. Like, what you want me to do? Yeah, something like that.
Or and then no, it would be cool. It would. I do like the concept, and I thought it was really, really cool.
Definitely. And
was interesting. I think not how I expected a Speak Now music video to be, if I'm being honest. It's the one from Liverpool, isn't it?
This is the video that we commented on all that while ago, where unfortunately, you know, a couple of pictures were leaked. So for some people, it may not have been such of a surprise, but it's definitely interesting. When we were speaking about it back then, we were like, well, what's this going to be for? Is it going to be for a vault song? And even when we listened to those vault songs, I don't think anyone imagined, like...
No,
that this would be the video.
No, I generally thought it was going to be for like Electric Touch, because I was listening and I was like, is this Electric Touch? I was just like, because I was thinking it's not When Emma Falls in Love.
Oh no,
it's
way.
Not Timeless.
No,
it's not Foolish One. It's not Castles Crumbling. And I was like,
it had to be
and
one
I
of
Can
those
See You, like but I was kind of like, I Can See You isn't like a vibe of like breaking out of a.
But she makes
like,
it
a heist.
like she really recontextualizes it really well to make it like even when like the little words that she says are dialogue.
Like shh, be so quiet. Good. That's what's really clever is they did a really good job of that, and even like I Can See You, Presley Cash says, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But obviously, what's kind of a key thing to mention is that this is another music video directed by Taylor.
Yes, another one in the bank, and we'll get into some things about that. But because it was directed by Taylor, she always has a lot of control over what's going on. But in this one especially, she had a lot of control over every single little detail. And the details, more than just Easter eggs for the era, I think there are more meaning behind some of them that we could discuss, especially looking forward and in relation to 1989 and other Taylor's version releases. Okay, so we start off with one that looks like it was an error. It's gone wrong. So
yes, it's giving, you know, when Taylor did her first ever TikTok, where she like transitioned from like the like Folklore into Evermore into Fearless Taylor's version, then into Red Taylor's version, and for Evermore they had the wrong date. It said like 2021.
Right. Yes. So then
and then very quickly
It
that
was
was
changed.
and
Yeah.
re-uploaded. I think this was a similar thing, and this is
Definitely.
one thing that just shows that even though Taylor does have a lot of control over things, at the end of the day,
She's not typing it out on the
lyric
computer.
booklets and final editing and stuff is done by someone else, and therefore sometimes why they might be like, oh, there's a mistake there, or a lyric change, or something spelt wrong,
Human error,
can just be down to human error, and whoever was the one that edited it and clearly didn't get double checked.
No, so it's funny that, because you would think the checks on this would be incredible, but anyway, so what we have at the beginning of the video is like a timestamp on screen which says that it's taking place on July 9th at 1:38. So a lot of us were like, well, does that mean that at the end of the video we'll get another timestamp being like, oh, now it's 1:58, and they've broken her out? But we didn't get any more, so it seems that it was just an error, and it has since been changed to say 1:58, which is obviously the famous lyric from Last Kiss. However, you know what Swifties are like. So some people believe...
everything's an Easter egg.
You know what I'm going to say.
The woman breathes and it's an Easter egg.
Yeah, so some people, which I understand, because she plants so many Easter eggs in such strange ways sometimes that people get carried away by it. And you know what? Sometimes they work out and we laugh at them, and then suddenly it's true and we're like, oh, well, that shut us up. But anyway, some people believe that 1:38 may be a reference to the 13th of the 8th, which obviously that dating system is European, not American, so not sure how I feel about that. But might be 138 days, some people were saying. There are other theories going on that people believe that on the last day of the Eras tour something is going to happen, and there's been references to that date as well. Mostly people think that it is pointing towards the 1989 Taylor's version announcement or release. How do we feel regarding that?
I think, again, what's interesting is to looking back at previous stuff. You know the Spotify video, I believe, about folklore, where it said like, it's still March, or something about like March.
Yes.
And everyone was like, oh my god, March, there's something about nothing happened in March.
No, that was just a
and
reference
then,
to
the
the
Man
pandemic,
music video.
that was that.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's when the pandemic started, and it was like, oh, how the hell is it August, But then, in the Man music video when she has a wee on the wall, and it says the man, it clearly says the man, and everyone was like, this May.
Oh,
and everyone was like, it says this May.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, for God's no, it doesn't. It says the man.
This is
and guess what?
Sometimes
nothing happened in May.
Nothing. If you want to see something, your mind sometimes goes to places because you're looking for something
for it.
And I think that's the same thing as this next one.
I think one thing that I've said, and if you've been a regular listener of ours, you're probably bored of me saying it, is that Taylor is so blatantly obvious with every single Easter egg. Like, most Easter eggs are very few. Every so often some are like, oh, I didn't see that. But normally they are plain as day. They're not like counting all the dots on a cake, or this number adds up to this, and in this music video she said this, which meant that then here this, and then she posted on Instagram. No. They're very much like, oh, that's a reference to that, or that time there means that, like it's normally stuff like that, rather than she changes the time like 3 hours later on the music. No, because they were all thinking, shit, we've got it wrong. Someone was in big trouble, and they're like, get that back out with the right timestamp.
3. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Exactly.
Yes. A lot of times they are much more obvious than we think. I think that this next one is very, very similar. So behind Presley Cash, when we're in the van, basically there's a number or a date maybe or something. It says 5/22/20. I don't know, people have been making up all sorts of different things to do with this, like rearranging the numbers, putting them all together.
That's the thing, it's like there's not...
No,
it would have to be like...
I think it's just a random.
20th of the 5th, which is past.
Exactly.
Because obviously there's no 20th month.
And anyway, we're in
2023
now.
Yeah,
so.
We're 23, exactly. So it's like everything is past, and it doesn't really make sense. I guess you can kind of add it together, but I think that one just purely is that it's the system in the back of the van, and there's just a number
sometimes
on display.
That's
and
all it is. So then we see the first two special guests in this music video, who are Presley Cash and Joey King, and both of them originally appeared in the original Mean music video all the way back then. It was so lovely to see. This is the moment
Oh,
where
me too.
the nostalgia.
I literally freaked out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Like
seeing them all grown up and thinking you've also been on that same journey with them. You remember them.
yeah.
It's kind of reminded me of when we saw the kids.
Everything has changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and Joker and the Queen.
That.
Yes,
Love that. Love how they bring them
me
back
too.
sometimes. I love
Because
it.
it is like a continual story, you know, of like,
Yeah.
like what's really cool is that on Presley's face, Presley had like 3 stars, and obviously in the Mean music video, Presley was the star, like saving up money to go to college to kind of get a dream job, and that was such a nice reference. And obviously 3 also references like Speak Now,
Right. We have a lot
like
of
third
threes.
album.
Yeah.
It was so nice that Taylor kind of brought them back and brought back the people from that era to like break her out. It just seems even more nostalgic and even more like, oh, just lovely, you know, of like, oh,
definitely,
you know, the real ones are getting Taylor out and like helping her. The
exactly.
ones that, you know, she helped, you know,
Exactly.
like Joey King in the music video as a little girl was like, oh, I can get, you know, over this, and all they are is mean, and I'll grow up and be in a big city. And then she's kind of helping Taylor out. It's almost like, you know,
you can see as fans,
favor.
We can also see ourselves reflected in them. But you know what I mean? So I think that's why Taylor did it so perfectly.
Yes,
choosing
I didn't
these
think
people
of it like that.
to represent.
Choosing people that, that were kind of part of that. It is, like you said, like the fans coming back and, you know, that maybe they're coming back to help and, you know. Oh yeah, that's really lovely. I haven't seen it like that, but that's it. That makes it even nicer. But when Presley did appear on screen, I was like, because obviously we kind of knew about Taylor Lautner and Joey King. Obviously, it'd been kind of leaked,
right? Because Presley
was a total shock.
It was, and it was just the cherry on top.
But I loved that. I just love it, and the fact that then we get kind of Taylor Lautner and Joey King as well, like how exciting.
Definitely. And the next thing we see is possibly a nod to Electric Touch as Joey goes to type in a number on a panel and there's like electricity coming out of it. So there you go, a nod to a possible Vault song. And then after that, we basically get the appearance of Taylor Lautner. Amazing. That reaction in the stadium, the magic that was happening on that night that she brought out at the Eras tour, and then, you know, debuting this MV, and suddenly everyone's seeing Taylor Lautner. What a moment.
Screamed, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, incredible. And what's so funny is that he, as Taylor said, he did all his own stunts. So like everything he did totally himself. And what's funny is that he obviously appears in front of the Back to December dress and piano, which is obviously just like couldn't be more perfect if she tried.
Definitely.
And then he kind of does the spinny thing. I don't even know how to describe it.
With the pole?
I don't think, with like a pole, which I don't think is a reference to, but ironically on SNL, when he was on SNL, he did the same thing and like smacked a Kanye
so
doll.
Back in like 2010, we're talking
2009, 2010.
So in fact, I will give you a bit more information on that. The fight scene, was it an Easter egg? Well, I recently watched the Taylor Lautner and Taylor Lautner, so Taylor's podcast.
Yeah.
They have a podcast together. It's called The Squeeze. It's a very interesting episode about all the filming of this music video. They give some information about, you know, how, you know, they got on with Taylor, the organisation of it all. It's really, really interesting episode, so I do recommend. And fans had asked him to confirm or deny, and he decided to neither confirm nor deny. He didn't give us the gossip, so we'll never know, basically. We'll never know.
We'll never...
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, I don't think it is, if I'm being honest.
To be honest, I agree. But it's a nice coincidence. Sometimes these things happen and they're lovely coincidences.
Yeah. Like the Lover House. And we'll move on.
Not the Lover.
But no, I think it is really nice that he was there, and it's nice that Taylor's kind of has a genuine friendship with Taylor Lautner and his wife Taylor Lautner, because it's just nice. And I think it's nice that
they're really sweet,
because often Taylor's kind of branded as this person that kind of burns bridges and writes all these horrid songs about people and ruins their lives. But it's clear that if you are actually a nice person, that isn't the case at all, you know? And sometimes it's not Taylor that's the problem. So yeah, I really love that he was in it. And he is, you know, symbolic of the kind of Speak Now era himself.
Yeah, in fact, talking about that, she said basically, her quote was at the Eras tour when she was kind of introducing Taylor, that, she introduced Presley and Joey as being from the Mean video. But for Taylor, she said, he was a very positive force in my life when I was making the Speak Now album. And I want to say he did every single stunt that you saw in the music video. And he and his wife have become some of my closest friends. And it's very convenient because we all share the same first name, sorry. I love that. It's just so sweet. It's just so lovely. And yeah, he was a very positive force. And it's just such a great way to encapsulate that Speak Now era and all of the positive things from that era. So taking this into account and, considering the people who have now appeared from the Speak Now era, they've made a cameo in this Speak Now Taylor's version era. What do you think this means going forward, especially for 1989 Taylor's version, which has been indicated to be next, and especially with the certain someone? Yes,
because 1989 has very basically one person that that album was influenced by. Positive or negative light at the time. We don't know. But
as far as we know and what Taylor has given to us, she has blatantly kind of told us that this is about Harry Styles, right? Or this is the moment's inspired. It doesn't mean that, Taylor's writing is her own writing, but obviously Harry and Taylor are very much linked together during this time of her life and during this production of music.
And also
a lot of back and forth with the lyrics.
What is very good to mention is during the 1989 promo, she literally said that they're really good friends. Generally really good friends. It's one of her closest friends, and that's why sometimes she struggles to kind of talk about it, because obviously they did date and she doesn't really talk about people that she dates, but she does like talking about her friends, and they are now a friend. And obviously they've interacted
very awkward,
at the Grammys a couple of times, and I believe they probably interact behind the scenes more than you'd know. And even at award shows when, like the 2013 VMAs, when Taylor was like, exactly who you are.
I love that.
For I Knew Your Trouble. They literally then had a photo backstage later, you know? Like,
it's
so
great.
It's not as drama as people think. And Harry has only ever spoken very highly and positively of Taylor.
And her music, and both especially.
Of them have, and her music, and her songwriting and her music. From that, what I would love is obviously a feature. A collaboration would be absolutely ideal. Harry doesn't do collaborations.
No,
He's obviously had 3 albums.
This is it, yeah.
And he doesn't do non-album singles. He doesn't really do features. He doesn't really do collaborations. He does write for other people and give stuff, but obviously that wouldn't be the case for Taylor, and I don't believe that they wrote a song together. There's all those horrendous supposed unreleased song. The one about Stevie Wonder, which is just not a Taylor Swift song, and is not Taylor. But obviously Harry, there's loads of unreleased Harry songs that, mentioned about lying on the whole Gold Hard Ground, In Your Wildest Dreams,
So
13,
there's a lot of
all of that,
crossover. When we speak about this, we don't want to force any. We don't care about their relationship behind the scenes. We don't care about any of that. We are talking purely musical and purely for promotion
business.
Of 1989. So,
like with Ed Sheeran.
Exactly. We just want some good music.
Because
which could be
they're both
iconic.
really good songwriters, and we're both big fans of both.
Iconic people, musical stars that put on a massive
It's the same as
show.
Me wanting a Miley Cyrus feature.
Right,
it's the same thing for me. I see them as the same. So fingers crossed we could get it. And obviously a style remix has been something that fans have been banging on for a long time.
The dream.
And it would be so good.
Iconic.
It would be unreal.
It would be.
And if they treated it a bit like All Too Well 10, as if they gave it that kind of treatment of On the Vault, it's like a feature, but obviously the original still is a standalone and still stands on its own, but this is just another version of, would be so cool. I would live for that. Or just a general feature, but as I mentioned, Harry is very much an album person.
Yeah.
And, he releases albums very traditionally.
Even though Harry doesn't usually release extra collaborations, having said that, he did co-write with Jack Antonoff, Alfie's song, Not So Typical Love Song, which was featured on the Love Simon soundtrack, and it was performed by Bleachers. So firstly, that's a good sign, collaborating with Jack, who obviously we know is a very, very close collaborator with Taylor. And also, I don't know if you remember, but way back in one of our episodes, I think perhaps it was for the Red Vault, perhaps it was the 1989 Vault episode, one of those two, we spoke about that there are some rumours from back in the day that Harry and Taylor did write together back in 2012,
Yes.
very, very like early on. So I don't know, maybe that could be brought back as a vault track. That would be incredible.
Imagine.
But both of those things, especially the Jack Antonoff connection, and I know that, you know, they also all said hello to each other at the Grammys. Those circles are quite tight, and they like to work together. So yeah, that style collaboration, though, I know it's kind of become a meme. Like you said, it would be perfectly marketed like that. Like, obviously we have the original, which must be re-recorded as it was. No pun intended. But then we also, I'd love that, just a little vault. Oh, how iconic. Can you imagine that? Just being like the back and forth of, he said what you heard is true, but and then the other one singing, can't stop thinking about you. And
God.
But anyway, let us know if you think it's very realistic now that we actually do have people from eras coming back to the eras that they were originally involved in. Because if it is, and we are not being too delusional, I really do think it would heighten 1989 to the next level, just because they're both iconic musicians, even for nothing more than that, you know? Moving on, though, back to the Speak Now Taylor trapped in the vault. She is in that vault with a picture of Speak Now Taylor's version, which is the only thing that she's able to salvage from this museum and take with her, which, again, very metaphorical, of her rebuilding this album back from scratch, basically. And the Speak Now Taylor that is featured is the Sparks Fly Taylor. So she's wearing that very iconic Sparks Fly dress from the Speak Now World Tour, which honestly I'm glad that she's in that one.
Me too. Part of me was kind of like, I'm surprised she didn't pick the Speak Now World Tour purple dress, you know, like the Dear John one, because that is quite iconic. But then, and also lots of people I've seen a couple of people, like when people have dressed up as Speak Now Taylor and they've dressed up like the Sparks Fly, people are like, that's fearless. And I think people have confused like the fringe, the like golden fringe kind of dress,
I see,
like flappery dress, as like a fearless one. So I'm glad that she actually did it. I'm glad that she did it and made people realise, no, this is a Speak Now outfit, like through and through. This was like the iconic outfit from, like at the time, that was like the iconic outfit. But the kind of Speak Now purple dress is kind of taken on because it's purple, and obviously Speak Now is purple. It's kind of taken on as one of the iconics.
It's easier to kind of put together. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and obviously on her she had the lyric, and obviously had a long-lived lyric. So she had, I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you, which couldn't have been more perfect and more sum up the whole re-recording, the fans and all of that. I think that was a perfect kind of lyric to pick, because obviously during the tour she had other songs that weren't her own lyrics on her own.
She also has a 13 on her hand, which is very reminiscent of that time in her life as well. And when we get the close-up of her hand, we also get the close-up of her nails, and they are painted black. So a lot of people, even though it's very 1989 centric what we're speaking about today and going forward, a lot of people still are very much like, this is a reference to Reputation. You know, black is Reputation, right? So
100%. And Taylor has used nails like way back in the day during the Reputation era. In the Delicate Vertical video, she had the like pink and blue of the Lover era, which she said she did on purpose.
Very
she
much
also during Eras tour obviously has all the different 10 album colours on her hands and has taken many photos with that. And also recently within Karma, she obviously had the blue and black nails on her thumbs when she was holding the coffee, and obviously has symbolised certain colours with certain albums. So obviously blue 1989, black being Reputation. So I don't think this is a reach at all. Like, she's nails at the moment have been something that she is using to communicate things and has been using for years. So I think the Reputation, I Can See You music video, Speak Now, Taylor having black nails is definitely on purpose. Like, that's not just, oh, she just wanted black. Like, I think that is a reference 100%.
That's interesting, because it then sends us to like, so is 1989 coming and then Reputation very soon afterwards? How's this gonna work? But another
or a double release, which
I'd hate that.
been banging on about.
I'd hate that. I have to say, I want each one to have their little
It'd
moment.
be too much music.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I need
too
everyone
much as well for my poor little brain.
Even now, speaking about 1989, I kind of don't want it to be soon. I want Speak Now to have its moment.
No.
I want the Eras tour to have its moment, and then perhaps towards the end of the year, something like that. Then that you know. But anyway, another recent thing to mention about Reputation is that recently Taylor put out a reel on Instagram where, you know, she features Cruel Summer, and she's featuring a lot of different looks and moments through the Eras tour, perhaps teasing, again, something completely different, maybe an MV for Cruel Summer, which is another thing.
Yeah.
Too many things going on, but we're in all the eras at once. But the cover of that reel is also Reputation Taylor.
Potentially something rap related. I do think
A
they
lot going
will
on.
do something for Cruel Summer. I'm surprised they haven't given it like a lyric video yet or some visualizer.
I think...
I do hope that if it does get the video treatment, I hope that it isn't... Even though I miss the final single of the era being a tour video. Because like Fearless, we got it with the song. What's it for? Speak Now, we got Sparks Fly. Red, obviously got the song Red, and then 1989 we got New Romantics. And I remember at the end of Reputation, I just remember thinking, okay, this is where you can't have nice things or something like that, and we never ever got it.
No, we didn't.
And I think that was because obviously it was the transition over into Republic, and obviously her kind of the end of relationship with Big Machine, so there'd be no need, like, why would you want to release a single with a record label that you're trying to cut ties with?
True.
And obviously that was probably when it was very complicated, so I think that's probably why. But I would like something for the Eras tour, but right at the end. So right now I don't really want the Cruel Summer music video to be Eras tour. I prefer like something else.
I see what you mean, but I do think that one, she has not got any time to be doing
time, no,
because you need to plan in advance. Cruel Summer was a last minute thing. I do think they're giving a moment for Speak Now to breathe, and then they will move on to it perhaps now in August. But yeah, I see what you mean and I understand, but if we do get it, at least we get HD clips from the Eras tour, which is cool.
Very true, which is always a good sign as well. And what is also a good sign is like Apple Music, they do like special editions of albums. So like for Red, at the start it has like a little voice memo of her saying like, oh, this album's about this. And Midnight she did the same, like 13 songs from Sleepless Nights. And then for Speak Now, they did like a special announcement video, like the HD footage of her announcing Speak Now on the Reputation on the Eras tour. Sorry, so that's a good sign that there is HD footage and it is being filmed. Hopefully not by Apple Music, because if we get a repeat of the 1989 World Tour editing trash, then that'll be atrocious. So I'm hoping that Netflix get their hands on it, or Disney Plus or something like that. But it is still a good sign, nonetheless.
So next up, in terms of Easter eggs in the I Can See You music video, basically we're going to be quickly going through most of the biggest, the most prominent Speak Now looks and items from the era that are on display in that museum area. So firstly, it's interesting to note that all of these things are like behind glass panels. So this could be a reference to the Evermore lyric, he's got my past frozen behind glass, but I've got me.
Yeah, I think that lyric is so clear, especially when like the glass smashes, and obviously the fact that the only thing she takes with her is the Taylor's version cover.
Is her, yeah.
And yeah, of herself, like she can't take any of the stuff that is behind the glass. And also what's quite cool with the cover, quickly to mention, is that it's obviously in the gold frame, which is like a reference to the gold frames on the Speak Now booklet, just the general like era and graphics and the tour, which I think is really, really cool. I'm glad that they did it like that, because that also is very Speak Now-esque.
Getting into what is behind the glass, firstly, I think it's interesting to mention the only outfit, which is not actually Taylor's, and it's Joey King's Mean outfit. And there's also a picture from them back in the day, and it's a very touching moment.
Yeah, like the Red tour.
Yeah, it's a very touching moment when Joey King is looking at this outfit and this little like wig that signifies her coconut hair from back in the day. And yeah, it's a very touching moment, but that is the only outfit that isn't actually Taylor's. Then we have some instruments.
I thought that one, sorry to butt in, but I thought that one was so sweet, and that is like the representation of, like you said, of like the fan, you know, like back in the day, this child, and being like, I'm doing it for that person, you know, like I'm breaking her out for that girl, that, you know, and it is just, it is so lovely. That bit was like, oh, bless her.
Yeah, so next we have the instruments from the era. So we have the mean banjo, which Joey literally uses to like bash over the heads.
What is it with Taylor and smashing up guitars?
She loves
at the moment. Like, what with Anti-Hero? It's like, can we not?
She loves a good smash.
Thankfully, obviously, it's replicas, but
we also have the Back to December piano, which you previously mentioned. It's behind Taylor Lautner when he's doing his fight scene. We have the like red electric guitar, which is the same one that like features. It features on the Speak Now World Tour cover.
And she plays it during Mine.
Yep. And then we have also the sparkly guitar. So yeah, a lot of interesting things from the era, not just outfits, which we love to see. Also, there's the balcony from the Speak Now World Tour.
Yes, the love story balcony, which then was kind of featured in Bejeweled as well.
That's true. Very true. Then we have all of these dresses and all of these outfits from the era. So I'm going to now read out the ones that we could basically pick out and that you can prominently see. There may be some more, but until we get either behind the scenes footage like we did for the Look What You Made Me Do video, or we're able to like kind of see different angles, we can't really go more into depth than what we've already got, which, to be honest, like you're going to hear in a second, there's a lot going on. But if you do want to see another one of our videos in which we literally pick apart every single outfit that appears in a video, go check out our Look What You Made Me Do outfit video, in which we painstakingly spent too much time watching that video, going
way
through.
too much. I think we were like, it was like, you know, when you like pause and play,
Yeah.
pause and play. We were like pause, play, and then the pair of us were like kind of on FaceTime, and I'd be like, debut dress.
Yeah, you were so good at it as well.
This.
I was just
love
like,
story.
I was writing it in, and you were just like, oh my God, I've seen this thing that she wore at one specific moment in her life for 10 seconds. And I was like, okay, I believe you. So
even today, going through some of these, we were both like, where's that from? And then I was like, chair. I was like, that's a People's Choice Award. Yeah, People's Choice. It was like,
it's crazy.
Like Time 100. Sorry, I was like, yeah, glass. I was like, People's Choice Awards, a glass.
Such
just
specific moments in her career.
Yeah.
But anyway, to go through them, we see the very iconic purple dress from the Speak Now World Tour, but we also see the blue dress, its blue variant from the international leg of the tour, which is sometimes overlooked by many people, but it does exist, and it's very uncanny valley to see it, but it is there. We have both of the dresses for the Better Than Revenge performances. We have the Mean and the Speak Now outfits from the booklet of Speak Now. We have Back to December tour outfit, which we've mentioned before. We have the Love Story tour outfit, the Haunted tour outfit, the Enchanted tour outfit, the Long Live tour outfit, the Mean tour outfit, and then we have some other outfits that aren't so prominent or aren't so easily recognized. So, for example, we have the AMA's 2011 outfit. We have the Mine MV outfit, which is literally featured just for like 10 seconds at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, it's literally like, but I think, to be fair, maybe it was more of like it's probably one of her personal outfits. That's probably why it's been kept, because it is the most random thing from that music video to keep. You think that it would be the main, the one where she's got all the pictures flying around.
Right.
You think that would be the kind of main one. But yeah, right at the start when she like walks in and sees the love interest at the bar as a waiter.
Then we have also the Time 100 Most Influential People Gala of 2010 outfit, which is like this black, shiny, metal-y thing combo going on. But
almost looks a bit like the Long Live outfit, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's easy to get them confused, but upon further inspection, it seems to be this one. We also have the People's Choice Award 2011 outfit, another random pick, to be honest with you, but I guess these are moments from the era in the end. And then finally, we have another international tour white dress, which the international tour outfits for Speak Now, we've spoken about this many times privately, you and I. They're so strange.
Because I would understand maybe if it was like they didn't want to bring the big love story one because, it was so big, or maybe transportation was hard or whatever. So hence why, maybe they had like the white dress instead, to just make the dress but in a totally different colour, but in a colour that's so similar but not the colour of the era or the album, is very random. But yeah, the international tour for Speak Now is something that is often very forgotten about and looked over. I think because of the Speak Now World Tour DVD, people think that is the tour that was played everywhere, and that was not the case. And the same with the Red Tour as well, to be fair, had a lot of variations and changes, especially in the Asian leg, like the kind of typical You Belong With Me kind of different version, the kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just an alternate version. Wasn't the case in some of the Asian leg. It was actually done acoustically. So it is interesting how, there is a change up. And even with the 1989 World Tour, things were kind of changed up. Reputation was quite similar across all of the dates. And eras, I'm sure that we'll potentially see some changes up as well,
yes.
Not just maybe in outfits. We're also seeing with set lists.
This
changes.
Was going to be my question.
Yes.
Considering all of this, considering how we can see this as a very clear example of international tours varying in outfits in this case to their respective US tour, which is more like you said, it's more recognizable because of that, is where the promotional videos have usually come from, etc. Going forward into the Eras Tour and how we're almost at the close of the US leg and the opening of, for now, whatever is left for the Latin American dates this year, and then obviously the rest of the very, very long international other legs of the tour. How are you feeling? Are you feeling changes are on their way? We will discuss this in an upcoming episode, but just quickly.
Yeah, I think outfits. I hope not set list.
Agreed.
Because I've grown quite fond of the set list. And I don't think she would, because I think people are expecting a very specific set list, and wouldn't really make sense to change any of it up anyway, because there's nothing that is a problem. And I think with the 1989 tour, certain things were cut, I think because of it being slightly too long and going over curfews, but then they weirdly added in like an acoustic moment where she would like sing White Horse, which was just really random, rather than all you had to do was stay. And then This Love was also cut for a bit. So potentially maybe some changes, but I hope nothing major in terms of set list. Yeah, don't want set list change. But outfits, I'm always up for different outfits as long as they're better than the originals, because sometimes they're a bit of a downgrade. But
right, yeah,
hopefully,
agreed.
Some change up. We've had lots of changes of basically all of the eras other than Reputation. So I'm hoping that Reputation gets, even just a different color snake, a bit like with the Lover changes that are just, different colors but the same kind of outfit.
Yeah.
Or like the red one with the 22 top changing. So potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed. What are you kind of hoping for or thinking about?
No, definitely, I agree with you. Like I said, there is an Eras Tour episode coming up very soon, so we will discuss in more detail, I think, especially things to do with the set list. But no, I completely agree with you with outfits. I hope set list does stay very much similar / the same, but outfits, I'd love to see new variations come into the fold, because we always like a good new outfit, just to see more variation. I love that. So agreed. We close off the music video with Taylor's last very pointed look towards the museum, and everyone is kind of like rushing her to get into the van. They've got to go, they got to drive. It is the getaway car, by the way. Could that be another Reputation hint?
Yes,
I don't know,
potentially.
But yeah, it's just a split second of a moment, but isn't it such a moment in the video?
It sums up it all, doesn't it? Of like that moment when she looks back, that even first time I was watching it, you can see the entire era and that entire process,
the pain
filling through her head, and then of like having to watch it all blow up and be like, okay, she breathes, and then it's like, I have to accept this and go.
Yeah.
And it is so heartbreaking, but also I think that was so poignant. That's my favorite bit of the music video, and I've loved the edits that people have done where they've edited in like like a kind of almost like a supercut of all of the moments from kind of Speak Now and key moments and stuff, and then flick back to Taylor, and then she gets in the van, because it is just, that was so poignant, and I think they did such a good job with representing the kind of whole process, and the fact that Taylor does have to move on with the re-recording. She does have to completely annihilate what she did before, because obviously even as fans, we don't listen to those originals. They are tarnished. We take on a new album cover, we take on new sounds, new visuals, new photo shoot, and it is sad sometimes letting go of that, what you had before, and being like, okay, I have to let that go, and accept this new version.
Extremely bittersweet, like we said at the beginning of the episode. It's a bittersweet message. It's very, it's sad, but at the same time it's needed, and it's a process that as a fandom we have all gathered together to relive all of these moments.
Support, and
relive, support, and it is very nostalgic because of it, and in a way it makes you appreciate eras themselves much more than I think many other fandoms maybe do, and or even Taylor's fandom ourselves, because sometimes nowadays in the music industry you're kind of like, okay, so what's next? You listen to an album,
what's next? When's the next single? What's the next album?
Our attention span is
hungry for more.
Attention span is quite low nowadays with things. People like to move on quickly. Okay, you've got a hit or whatever, okay, next thing. But the Eras Tour itself and these re-recordings for me really put into perspective like what a whole era is, and everything that goes into it, and the memories that can be made in it. And when you leave it, it's still nice to revisit it. And I think we've discussed this before, but Taylor, I do believe, through these re-recordings and the process of going back and going through everything and the Eras Tour, I really do think that her relationship with her previous albums have in many ways healed a lot of things that,
Oh, yes.
a lot of feelings towards her albums. And I really think that it means that now going forward, she doesn't believe she has to completely scrap or tear down the whole house and the whole
Yeah.
era and rebuild.
Mhm.
She can now take
I think,
her music and go forward with it.
yeah. And I think, yeah, like you said, that is a really key moment of, revisiting. And because obviously, as we've said before, whenever she would enter a new era, she would totally dismantle the previous and pick it apart for what was wrong with it and sonically what wasn't good and what she needed to do for the next one to improve. And I think, Folklore and Evermore for me, I think was a key moment where she realised that she doesn't have to tear that all down. And I think now also with Revisiting and then Midnights as a result, because the Midnights album is, I think, generally as a result of re-recording.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I really do think Midnights would not exist without the re-recording project being a thing, or at least not in the same way.
No.
Not in the same way. No.
Especially with some of those songs, some of the songs referencing Red, Speak Now, Fearless, eras. And I think that's really interesting, and Reputation and things like that. So I think that it is interesting, and I think that moment was just that is my favourite moment for the music video, and it's literally a millisecond, like a couple of seconds, but I think that it just sums up everything about it, and the sadness, the bittersweetness, but also the excitement and nostalgia of it as well.
Definitely, and that leads us to the close of this video, which is the reason why we're here. It's the reason why we've been discussing 1989 Taylor's version and what is next, basically, for the Taylor's version re-recording era. Which, is exactly that. She drives off across a bridge, and as the scene kind of pans out, we see a sign at the top, and it basically does say 1989 TV, confirming to us in the same way that she kind of confirmed to us in the Bejeweled music video what's next.
Yes.
Like, at least what re-recording is next. It might not be the next thing, because you never know with Taylor, but it is the next re-recording, or so it would seem. So, 1989 Taylor's version, this scares me. I know a long time ago, about over a year ago, we had an episode come out.
Mad.
In which we mentioned what's next for the Taylor's version era. Obviously, Midnights was next, so it was nothing. But we discussed then, would it be Speak Now or 1989? We got it right, by the way. We did say Speak Now first, then 1989. But here we are. How are you feeling?
I think, it's interesting. What is it also interesting is every year of the re-recording, we have had a 1989 song. So we had one, obviously, in 2021. Before we even got Red, we had Wildest Dreams. And obviously last year, 2022. And the only re-recording Taylor's version song we got was This Love. So potentially we might get another single off of something if we don't get an album. But I'm hoping that this will be the year. I feel like it's definitely long overdue.
Interesting. It's interesting, those choices. Obviously, both of those choices, we have discussed them before and why they were made, and it's very, very purposeful. Both of them are very much linked to projects of movies, series, showing people, use my version, you will get good press from it, you will get audience from it. It benefits us all. So makes a lot of sense from a business stance. But it also is interesting why those two songs in specific. Even This Love, it could have been
considering
any other
they're
song.
not the big,
Exactly.
Considering they're not the big ones.
That's where I'm heading. So we have a lot of big songs from 1989 to come, which scares me a lot. Very much so. I think I'm mostly scared for 1989 and Reputation debut. I am very confident with. I'm very happy with that. I know that it's going to be
especially after the performance this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh no, we're going to get we're going to get a treat for debut. A lot of people are going to be appreciating debut like they never did before. But for 1989, which seems to be on the horizon, I'm scared. I'm literally shaking in my boots.
Yeah. I just hope that, and I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be fine. But I just hope that, sonically it's done justice.
This is what scares me. But regarding dates, I have no idea. I'm not feeling that we're close to it, to be honest with you.
No,
are you feeling this year?
And I don't, to be honest, because we're late July, we're about to head into August. That's the point where we're recording this. And I just don't think 1989 should be released in August. It just doesn't seem correct. And I think that they want to live off Speak Now, and Cruel Summer's doing really well.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything should have its moment as it should. Obviously, Speak Now, we've got Cruel Summer going on. August, the month, is obviously going to bump up August, the song. So there's Folklore back in the mix.
Yeah, exactly. And also, then we'll be towards the end of the year where tour's wrapped up.
Mm.
Taylor generally deserves a massive break, and she'll probably then
Definitely.
spend time recording whatever is next, whether that is, you know, a studio kind of next step album after Midnight's
God.
TS11, or, you know, whatever re-recording is planned on the horizon. And I think that'll be her time to kind of do that, and also just have a decompress. Like,
Yeah, just a
you know,
break. Yeah.
she's been working
She
hard.
deserves. Yeah.
Yeah, and also obviously she's got her movie
At
she's
some
writing and
point.
directing.
Obviously, definitely
So
not in the
yeah,
next couple of years, but
no,
also
but you
time for
know,
her
at
maybe
some
to just
point,
like sit back, chill, write out a little
yeah,
script here and there, which sounds very like, I'm just going to
exactly.
relax by writing a screenplay, don't mind me. But
Yeah, so
yeah, I agree.
yeah, hopefully, but I don't think this year, if I'm being honest. I think next.
To be honest, this is a curse because whenever we say things, then the opposite happens.
Yes,
So
yes.
I don't know anymore. I remember in the video that I previously made reference to, we said maybe this will come out, maybe Speak Now, maybe 1989. We was like giving dates for them all and months, and then randomly at the end we said, oh haha, you know what Taylor's like, she might just release a whole other album. And then we laughed it off because
And
we're
then
like,
guess
nah, because she wants to do Taylor's version first. Well, yeah, guess what? So yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. It would seem that it is next. However, in my heart, it would be kind of iconic to release 1989 Taylor's version like a decade after the original came out, which would be next year, 2024. Can you imagine decade celebration?
Well, it makes me feel sick.
It does make me feel sick.
10 years.
But decade celebration, Harry Styles on the vault, massive like promotion for it. Eras tour is basically come to a close. It'd be off the edge of that, jumping into that. I don't know. We'll see. But let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you think's coming next. Do you think our guesses are correct? Do you think we're completely off base? Do you think something else completely different is coming? Are we going to have a break for a while? Or is 1989 TV on the horizon? You know, on the horizon as in maybe announced on one of the last days of the US leg. Let us know what you guys think.
Okay, we've now come to the end of this episode. We hope that you've enjoyed hearing some I Can See You Easter eggs and our general thoughts and theories about everything that's going on at the moment, because there is a lot. But we thought we'd also quickly mention that we have an exciting episode coming next, our actual next episode, and we'll be recapping the entirety of the Eras tour thus far, and we'd love you guys to kind of give your insights and hear from you guys and get you guys involved in the episode. As we know that some of you have attended. So we'd like you guys to kind of feature in our episode and obviously collaborate with our listeners. So we'll be posting all about how you can get involved on our Instagram soon. So make sure that you follow us over on Instagram so you can keep tabs if you'd like to be involved and send in some of your kind of experiences for the Eras tour. We would generally really, really love you guys to kind of be involved so that we can kind of get a real feel of the tour from fan perspective, from the set list, outfits, everything. But also make sure that you subscribe over here on YouTube. And if you did like this video, then give it a like and let us know some of your theories about I Can See You and also just general stuff that's going on at the moment. And also rate us over on Apple Music and Spotify. But do follow us over on Instagram. Keep an eye out because we'd love to get you guys involved. But thanks for listening and we will speak to you soon.